Welcome to Auto Bike Focus. In this episode, we turn our attention to a legacy platform that has seen decades of evolution in the skies above China, the Shenyang J-8 fighter jet. Originally developed in the 1960s and entering service in the 1980s, the J-8 was once China's answer to high-altitude interception during the Cold War. Now, in 2026, the J-8 remains in limited service in its most modernized form, not as a frontline fighter, but as a support platform and testbed for new technologies. While considered outdated compared to modern aircraft like the J-10C or J-20, the continued relevance of the J-8 tells a broader story about resource adaptation, training roles, and strategic depth within the People's Liberation Army Air Force, PLAAF. Legacy of the J-8 platform. The J-8 was originally conceived as a high-speed, high-altitude interceptor based on the earlier J-7, itself a Chinese variant of the Soviet MiG-21. The aircraft's twin-engine configuration, long fuselage, and limited agility positioned it for a specialized role, intercepting intruders such as high-flying reconnaissance aircraft. Early variants lacked modern radar and beyond visual range capabilities, but through upgrades over the decades, including the J-8B, J-8C, and eventually the J-8F, the platform received improved radar, missile systems, and limited multi-role capability. However, even with these upgrades, by modern standards, the J-8 remains a second-generation aircraft with third-generation enhancements. 2026 status and role. In 2026, the J-8 is no longer seen as a viable frontline combat aircraft, especially in an era dominated by stealth, data fusion, and advanced avionics. However, the airframe continues to serve valuable roles in secondary capacities. Some aircraft are reportedly used for pilot training, radar calibration, and electronic warfare simulation. Others have been converted into flying testbeds for experimental engines, radar systems, or missile integration platforms. The use of the J-8 in these roles illustrates China's strategic approach to extracting extended utility from older platforms rather than retiring them outright. Technological limitations and modest upgrades. Even in its latest configuration, the J-8 struggles to meet modern air combat standards. It lacks low observability features, carries a basic mechanically scanned radar, and cannot compete with 4th generation or 5th generation fighters in terms of agility or avionics. Its weapon systems typically include older versions of the PL-5 and PL-8 short-range missiles and the PL-12 for beyond visual range engagements. While capable of supersonic flight and limited multi-role missions, it lacks precision strike capability and network-centric combat features that define 2020s era fighters. Strategic implications. The continued presence of the J-8 in 2026 also reflects broader trends within the PLAAF. With rapid modernization efforts focused on the J-16, J-10C, and J-20, older platforms like the J-8R,